Back to Dave's Shop. I'm Dave, and it is Morning Coffee Talk Live. Thank you for your patience this morning. Hope everybody's got their coffee, raring and ready to go. O-Dog 360 joined. Let's see. Melissa joined. Cymbals and Gongs joined. Anthony Lawrence joined. Sheila Schaller joined. Cesar, hey man, how's it going? Thanks for the follow, Ziggy. Hey everybody, all my YouTubers. So we're streaming live from Central Texas, where it's hotter than hell. It is March the 3rd, 2026. It's supposed to be, I think, 85 degrees today. If you're new here, let me know where you're from and what's the temp where you're at. Morning, Kim. How you doing? Today's reminder: pray first, react second. Row Digital, I agree with you 100%, buddy. I sure do. Thank you for all the likes. Serious and funny. So everybody remember now. Thank you, Ed. Good morning. Everybody remember, get your, we're doing a giveaway. So you want to make sure that you get your entries in. We're taking entries all of this week. And again, all the way through next Wednesday at 12 noon. I did talk to, just as an update, I did talk to Super Clean yesterday. I just check in with them. Hey, Nicole, how's it going? Good morning. To see if they may have wanted to sponsor the show. Unfortunately, they don't do sponsorships, but they will continue to do giveaways for us. Thank you for joining the fan club. And so that's a real plus. I mean, still super good company. And I mean, I appreciate that they'll do giveaways for us. And so, don't miss out on the giveaway. I mean, if you've never used this product before, it's really good. I mean, I've been using it for a couple of years. It's a US based company. You know, we always like to support US based companies who also employ US citizens. Beard Bastard Barbecue Sauces. Hey man, what's up? Danny Harriman, good morning. How's it going this morning, Danny? So, you know, I was going to do something a little different today, but let's do first things first. Let's get that I did confirm. So on the Super Clean giveaway, make sure if you want to get your entry in, you got to send me an email to daveshop2@gmail.com. And in the subject line, type in Super Clean. You have to be 18 years old, no purchase necessary. There's no cost out of your pocket. This is a giveaway that's sponsored by Super Clean. So if your name's drawn, then I will send you an email to get further information from you. And then we will forward that on to Super Clean so that they can ship the products directly to you. And what you'll get is a 32-ounce bottle of concentrate that can be diluted up to 16-1, and you'll also get the spray. That's what is included in the giveaway. But they also have a foaming version. And again, and I always tell everybody, I use this full strength for, like, you know, maybe an oil spot in your driveway or one in your garage. You can use it on that. Let it sit just a little bit. Add a smidge of cold water and a scrub, and it'll take that oil right up. You can use this on your oven doors, your countertop. stovetop, but usually I'll use this on my stovetop, this on my barbecue grill, this on any direct heavy duty grease stains. I use the aerosol if I want to clean my engine or anything that's vertical. And then I use the foaming version for the bathroom, tub, shower, gets rid of all that soap and scum. And also it does really good if you have a shop sink where your guys or you wash your hands, and you got, the sink, you got one of those fiberglass sinks that's really dirty. That will really keep it looking clean. So anyway, super clean giveaway. Make sure you get your thank you, Minota, for the follow on TikTok. I appreciate that. Hey, Wisconsin, how's it going? Get your submission in. Send me an email to daveshop2@gmail.com. In the subject line, type in super clean so that I know that you want to be included in the giveaway. We'll be taking entries till next Wednesday at 12 o'clock noon Central Standard Time. So don't wait. Go ahead, and if you're interested, look, it doesn't cost you anything. It's free. It's sponsored by Super Clean. And if you win, it's going to be sent right to your house. No cost to you. No purchase necessary. You have to be 18 and you have to live inside the United States. That's the only two main things. Okay. Thanks for the follows. Okay, so now here's the other thing. Not many things are free in life, but this is free. Like, share, subscribe. All of those things are free on the live on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit all those buttons, would you? And same thing on TikTok. It's like, share, and follow. Y'all all know what to do. All of that's free. Anybody on TikTok that follows, I always try to go back and see if you're a content creator. If you have content, then I try to reciprocate the follows. I don't follow bots. Ryder X Roids, the teal shirt with the mustache changed. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Let's see what else. Who else? Somebody else I didn't recognize here a while ago. Kelly Rosenthal, good morning. One of my regulars back for our morning coffee talk live. What fun. Oh, let's see here. Robland 6902. Wish mine would grow like that. Yeah, I've been growing it since I was 11. I've only shaved it off a couple of times. I did put a challenge out there, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, that if you could get me to 10,000 followers in 5 days, that I'd shave it off live, but that failed. So I still have it. And once I get to 10,000, then, the bet to have it shaved off live would probably just go up. It would cost more subscribers. There's a real shocker. What's today's topic? So, today I want to do like question for question, because I got a lot of questions that I was thinking about last night. I posted some stuff. My wife would leave me if I shaved off my beard. My wife, I've only shaved my mustache 2 or 3 times in my lifetime, and my wife said, what in the world? One time it was an accident. I had a beard, and I was shaving the beard off and accidentally shaved half the mustache off. So, of course, I had to finish the job. So that was once, and the other 2 times were when I was younger, and I think one of them was when I was in the middle of a job interview for Texas Department. What are they going to say? It was a law enforcement job, and I shaved it off, but that didn't work out, so I grew it back. And since then, my wife says, no, don't shave it off. She doesn't like it. You don't ship to Iran? Nope. Sorry, don't ship. We don't ship anywhere outside the United States. One question, Dave. What do you do for fun? What do I do for fun? Well, here lately, I ain't been doing a whole lot of fun because I've been doing project. My wife. It's funny. My wife's ex-boss. You know, they're still friends because they worked together for a pretty good while. And you know, unfortunately, her husband was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and they had to go down to MD Anderson for a few days. It turned out good, though. Just so everybody knows, he's going to be okay. It's contained. It has not spread, and they've got that all taken care of. But their dog loves to stay with us because we have dogs, and so when her boss came yesterday to pick up the dog, I was in the middle of replacing some light fixtures outside the home, and she said, "What are you doing?" I stand up on a 12-foot ladder, and I told her what I was doing. She goes, "Well, my husband, we just got one of those, and he just paid somebody to do it." I was like, "Yeah." But I don't, if I can do it myself, I don't pay somebody else to do it. Have an early start today. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate you. Have a safe day. Ed's our Lutheran minister over here on TikTok, and he pops in every morning. He's one of my very first supporters and does such a great job. But he has such a busy schedule. You know, when you're managing a church and he has a podcast and joins our live, so he keeps going. Ryder, yeah, come on, Ryder, don't be too. But anyway, so today what I wanted to do is that one, I was going to show you the super clean. Remind everybody, get your entries in, send it to daveshop2@gmail.com so that we get those going, because it makes it easier if I get them early instead of last minute, because then I set up, you know, trying to get write all the entries in and get them down. So if you can do that, I appreciate that. Don't know if everybody saw the video I posted yesterday, thanking everybody especially people on YouTube for the gifts and the super chats. I really appreciate them, and I wanted to show you what I was doing with some of those funds. And then same thing for my TikTok people, you know, who, you know, generously, constantly support me and give gifts and you know, where that goes too. So what I'm doing is moving my office, and I was just showing in the video what my shop looks like, a total mess, but some stages of what I'm doing to try to get it moved out there, get an air conditioner installed, and then hopefully I won't be having to like try to move due to the weather. I'll be able to just be in one spot all the time, whether it's cold or hot. I'll have a place to do my lives out. So moving past that, so here's my first question to you. JWLS joined. Hey man, thanks. Donna's World sent me a piece of cake. Oh, nothing like having cake first thing in the morning. And 67 roses from Nicole over here on TikTok. She's kicking it. Thank you very much. Say hi. Ryder, I said hi, Amber. Thanks. Say hi. Hi. Rule by Saturn. Hey, man. How's it going this morning? Sirius LS6 or LS1 for a Corvette. Man, I don't know. I don't know which one I'd go with on that, Ryder. Maybe y'all know Ryder better than I do. That's pretty funny. Have a great coffee talk. Hey, thanks, Donna. I know Donna's our RN and she's got to go to work early. She usually starts her lives even earlier because she goes to work early. And, you know, it's kind of what I did too. So here's my first question to you. Are you ready? So tell me if you've ever seen this supplement, NMN. Have you ever seen that supplement? And what do you know about it, if you know anything about it? Now, I can tell you, I picked this up. This was sent to me by Catacor, and I did a video on it. And it's supposed to have some really good benefits. What I understand is that everybody has NAD as part of your makeup, but once you turn about 50, you lose about 50% of the NAD that your body needs. And NAD is, you know, promotes a better metabolism, better sleep. It's supposed to make you run faster, jump higher, and all of that other fun stuff. I've never taken it. Brian Schrader, thank you for joining. But I was just curious, has anybody seen this? Because apparently it's all over. The label is backwards on the screen for us. Sorry. I've changed that on my phone multiple times and I cannot get it to stay. It drives me nuts. So anyway, just know that that's what it is. And just curious if anybody has nobody? Not one person, huh? There's no reason why everything slows down, speeding it up cause damage. Yeah, I agree. It can. But it does slow down, you know. There's a plus to aging and a minus. You know, the plus is we're here still, and so that's a good thing. What was this? Tiana Riero, 22663. Hey, how's it going? Nope, never heard of it. Nobody ever heard of it. Okay, well, it's supposed to make you look younger and tighten your skin and all of those fun things. And apparently they're giving it to our military because it's supposed to really help with their endurance and stuff. So what I read about it said that you see some kind of improved results within 2 to 4 weeks of taking it. You take 2 a day. So today's going to be my first day. So if you see me jumping higher, running faster, just full of energy, you'll know that this is what I was taking. And if you want it, it's on sale on the TikTok shop and free shipping. But you can use me as the experiment. But I did want to show that. Okay. Got that out of the way. Now to the real questions. Is there a reason why everything slows down, causing damage? Yeah. I hear you, Moen God. I hear you. Let me see here, because I had this pulled up and I thought, well, you know, we can do question for question. Sometimes I get good questions and sometimes I don't. What was that rule by Saturn? Well, we call the ambulance if we start jumping around. That's too funny. Okay, so here's my first question. Are y'all ready? Jose Luis, good morning. First question in the morning. Is it better? I mean, do you feel like it's better when you're busy? Do you feel better when you're busy or just peaceful? I mean, what do you think? For me, I like being busy. I don't like to be sedentary. I need something to do. But not everybody's that way. So I'm asking any of you, what do you think? I mean, do you like being busy, or do you prefer just being able to chill? K-Saw Spotter, good morning. Feel better when not busy. Okay. So Kim says she feels better when she's not busy. Rule by Saturn, busy for sure. Time flies when you're getting stuff done. People on your live give a nice and polite on others. A visit, they just talk smack. Yeah, we don't talk smack here. This is like going to the coffee shop and hanging out with your friends and talking about the day. Nicole just joined. Nicole, let me ask you a question. Do you like being busy, or would you rather just everything be kind of peaceful and chill? What do you prefer? So here's me. This is my personality. I want to, so let me just kind of backstory it a little bit. When I knew I was fixing to be forced into a retirement before I wanted to be, and even prior to that, I had read, as I got closer to retirement, and Nicole says, yeah, keep her mind occupied, that, when you retire, you want to not retire to the couch and sitting in front of the TV. You want to retire to something. Some people retire and they just love to play golf and they want to be on the golf course 5 days a week, and they can afford to do that. I've played golf and it's okay, but it's not anything I'd want to do 5 days a week. Do I like to go fishing? Yes, I like to go fishing. But again, I don't live on a lake and I don't have a boat, and I don't want to go fishing 5 days a week. So I like projects. I like to have something to accomplish so that when I sit down after supper and I sit down in the recliner at the end of the day, I feel like I've accomplished just one thing. So usually 2 things, because I have a real thing about making your bed. And a lot of people say, making your bed, that's not an accomplishment. That's the first accomplishment that you should make every day. Make your bed. You get your bed made. If you don't do anything else, you at least accomplished one thing. But what I find is by doing that, you're like, okay, got that knocked out. Now what's the next thing? And so, you move on to the day. Anyway, that's me. So I like being busy. I like having something to do. If I'm going to be semi-retired, I'm not going to sit on the couch. I'm going to do something. And if I run out of stuff to do, and the social media that I'm committed myself to, given tons of time to see if I can ramp it up some more. If it doesn't work out, then I'll probably go get another job, because I'm not going to sit on the couch. I've seen in the past people I worked with who that's what they did, is they went home, they sat on the couch, and in 4 or 5 years they were dead. And that ain't me, and I'm not doing that. So that's my question. You sit on the couch, or you just wither away? You're right, you do. And who wants to do that? You play any games? Yeah. Carlo, we do play trivia. We just played it last week on, what did we play? We played it on Friday and actually had an item to give away with it. And so we will play trivia again. But I found that if you play trivia a lot, then people kind of get bored with it. So I'm always looking for a new angle and something to do. Tangaro, same here. Some live or just with smack talk. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I've watched, when I first was considering about doing lives, I thought, wow, I don't know if I can do a live. I don't know if I have enough to talk about. And then I realized, and plus I didn't want anybody to know I was going live because I didn't want them to make fun of me. Seems like social media, a lot of times people think that it's a young person's game, but I kind of disagree. I think there's a lot of people in our age group that understand technology. We have a whole lot more experience. And so our conversations, to me, are much more interesting than what some of these youngsters do. And I've watched some other people's lives, and I'm like, my God, if there's 25 people watching this person sitting in a recliner, usually not doing anything or much of anything, or maybe talking about the day, then I should be able to do it too. So we try. I'm always looking for new ideas. If you ever have anything you want to talk about or a different game you like to play, I played Friday Trivia, but I lost. But it was fun. That's the key, is that it's fun, and when I can get stuff to give away, that even makes it more interesting. And just so you know, this last Friday was the first time I ever gave away anything playing trivia, other than, hey, letting everybody know who won. But trivia is fun. It lets you know there's a lot of those trivia questions. Like when I come up with them, I have the answer I'm looking at. And even though knowing the answer, a lot of times, if you were to ask me that question and I didn't see the answer, I may or may not be able to answer it. I might not know. I don't think myself that I'm a great trivia player, because I've played trivia with friends and family, and usually I don't do that well. But that's just me. That's just not my thing. So here's another one to anybody who wants to answer the question, and understand that you can ask me questions too. If you ask me a question, any question, just as long as it's appropriate, I'll answer it. I'll tell you what I think about it, and what my take is on it. But since no one's asked me, Matthew Kerr 458 joined. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the hearts, the likes, super chats. All of that stuff's fun. We are moving the office, and so everything and anything helps. Along with just your support here makes it fun for me. Let's see here. What was I going to ask? Okay. So tell me one thing that, what does it say? For the 1989 F-150 wheel, should I keep the 4.9 inline 6 or change it to a V8? Stay with the 6-banger. Man, those things are like bulletproof. I mean, you could put a V8 in it, but that inline 6 is just hard to beat, dude. I mean, I wished you could buy Ford, Chevy, Dodge, whatever. I wish you could buy them with a straight 6, a simplified motor in them without all of these turbos. And I know the turbos are so they can put a smaller engine and got more power, but there's so many people who have trucks and and they're not using them for towing heavy trailers or cattle or horses or big boats. They use them just for everyday use. Like they go to the big box store and pick up some 2x4s or a piece of sheetrock or a piece of plywood, or they load lawn supplies, dirt or mulch or whatever, grass, fertilizer, that kind of stuff. And on most those top trucks, you just don't need, you know, a big V8. Now, I have the Ford F-150. It's a 2019, and it has that 2.7 V6 twin turbo engine, and it's good for it's great on gas mileage. You can get out on a highway, if you keep it under 75, you'll get 25, 26 miles to the gallon on it. In town, it gets 20 coming and going, and it consistently gets 20. And for a Super Crew truck, that's really good gas mileage. And so the last truck had a V8 in it, and I had a tow bar on it. And on this truck, since 2019, I've not had a tow bar because I was going to put one on it, but I thought to myself, my God, you know, when's the last time you towed anything? I had that V8 truck for probably, was it 16 years? I bought it new. So I had about 16 or 17 years. And I towed a trailer 2 or 3 times in that time. And since I bought the 2019, I've never towed anything. I could, but I haven't had a need for it. And so, but if I had to buy a new truck, I would go back to the V8 just to get away from the twin turbos, because I just had to spend $1,500 on a 60,000 mile service because the way that engine is set up, and because it has the twin turbos, and because it has that 10-speed transmission. So I had to have the transmission flushed, filter, all of that done. I had to have all the spark plugs changed at 60,000 miles. Of course, an oil change, that's pretty standard. So transmission, spark plugs, basically a full tune-up. And not that it was running bad, but that's what all the master Ford mechanics required or recommended to extend the life of it. And the transmission deal, I noticed a big difference in the transmission service. That transmission is shifting much smoother than it was even before I had the work done. So that's good. I mean, come on, people, lay in bed and scream at least. Talk to us. Yeah, I'm hearing you. Wake up. Get some coffee. What is the price of fuel here? So I got fuel Saturday, and I think I paid $2.47 a gallon. But you know, with what's going on over the week, this past weekend, Muhammad, hello, Uncle. How are you doing? I'm doing good, Muhammad. You know, in Iran, that the ocean path right there, what do they call it? The Bermuda path or whatever, that 20% of the 20% of the world's oil is freighted through there. And so now that's, you know, speculation, wholesalers speculate, and the wholesalers automatically just raise the price 25, 30 cents a gallon. I think in the next few weeks, we're probably, if it hasn't already jumped in other parts of the country, I think you're going to see, I think you could safely say you could see gasoline around $3.50 a gallon. Wow, 212 here. Where are you at? ATM? ATM. What's ATM? I did see the blood moon last night, Nicole. It was really pretty. The Strait of Hormuz. Yes, that's correct, Kim. Australia. Okay. 212. That's not bad. That's you know, we had, I think the lowest I have seen it in Central Texas is about 218, 219. But it fluctuates. You know, you'll have a really good price, and then on Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday morning it jumps 60 cents a gallon. So I don't know what kind of games they're playing. But it's nuts. Okay, here's the next question. Are you ready? The thing about it, it's not that I don't want to talk about what's going on in Iran and the United States and Israel bombing them. And, I think Iran is probably just bothered people, so many people in that part of the world, really worldwide, I guess, for years. And maybe everybody's just tired of them. I don't know. Hopefully this doesn't last. Hopefully they're able to get things worked out. But I don't know. There's still an awful lot of radicals in that country that mean to do harm to all us infidels and other people too. So, but I'm sure there's good people in Iran that, they don't deserve to be subjected to all this, but unfortunately we can't. $2.70 a gallon in Virginia. Okay. Well, that's about right. Little Meow, he wants to be a wartime president. That's the whole thing. He doesn't care. Well, I heard this morning that this is really not the United States who wanted this. This is Israel, and not whatever his name is, Netanyahu. He's the one who was really pushing to attack Iran. So we could have said no. I agree. I agree. I don't know. I'm really kind of just mixed emotions about it. I don't see. I don't think we wanted them to have nuclear capabilities because of some of the crazy stuff they've done over the years. But at the same time, I'm just not sure this is the path I would have taken. But anyway, that's me. Let's see here. Will B2 150. Fuel is hanging around $2.40 to $2.50 in Arkansas. $1 for premium, more for premium. 25 gallons of ethanol-free gas, $97. Yo, that's how. I didn't like Joe Biden personally, but everything he did wasn't wrong. So, the thing, here's the thing about Biden. When he first got in office, I think he had a little bit of snap left to him. I didn't necessarily agree with what he did, but I don't agree with what a lot of presidents and a lot of congressmen do. You've heard me say it more and more and more. The one thing that is missing from Congress and politics in general is common sense. People just, people are in politics for their own personal gain, and that's not what they should be there for. I mean, we, the people, put them in office, and yet they have made rules where they can give themselves raises. They can, stay as long as they want. They can lie. No repercussions most of the time. And then, they fight. They spend so much time fighting with each other, and most people are listening to the liberal media and their lies and half-truths that BRI, thanks for the follow, that we really don't know what's going on. We ain't got a clue. They're like a magician. They want to keep you, oh, hey, look over here, while they're putting their hand in your pocket. They'll tell you, oh, we're going to make eggs free. And they have no control over that. They make statements that are just dumb. And that's, I voted for Trump and I like some of the stuff he does. But the one thing I wished would happen to him is that he would lose his voice. For 6 months, couldn't talk at all. So only thing that we saw is his actions. And that's what and I would say that for any politician. You know what they need to do? Shut up. Do the job. Let your work speak for you, not your lips. And, these people that are politicians in Washington, arrogant. They think somebody owes them something. They walk around with this Do you know who I am? Y'all ever seen that cartoon joke? And it's real big in the hospitality business, and it's basically a character calling a customer service person on the phone to make a reservation at a hotel, and they're having issues, and the guy calling keeps saying, "But do you know that I'm a diamond?" And what he's referring to is what level of loyalty he has to that company. And it is hilarious. Well, that's kind of reminds me of what our congressmen do. Did I serve in the military? No, I have a blood disorder and I could not serve. Was I registered? Yes, I was. I wanted to go into the military because I wanted to be a police officer, and I was going to go serve in the military as an MP and then come out after 4 years and work in law enforcement. That's when during the process is when I found out that I was disqualified for that. So no, I didn't. My son's in the Army and hasn't been deployed yet. So yeah, we have a friend that just left yesterday from San Antonio, Texas. She was going to Chicago. She joined the Navy, and all of this is going on. And so, hopefully maybe it'll be passed, because, you got what, 6-9 weeks in boot camp, and then another 2 or 3 months, depending on what job you're going to do. Bree, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see where that's going. Anyway, I don't know. I would like to see a lot of this just, I think it's a mess, and I think it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. And I just, I don't know. In my lifetime, it seems like we just can't get out of fighting with somebody. I mean, if we have short periods of time where there is no active war going, there's at least threats of, if you don't do this, I'm going to do that. If you don't do that, I'm going to do this. And I don't know that anything that's being done in the Middle East is going to solve that problem, because think about it. Hundreds and hundreds of years, that part of the world has been in conflict with each other, and it doesn't matter who's in power. And I mean, it's just like, what do they call, what do they call it when you do the same thing over and over and you expect a different result? I call it crazy, because that's kind of what it all reminds me of. Okay, so here's my next question to you. Wandering home, join. Good morning. How you doing? Here's my next question to you. What's one thing that you wish you had learned earlier in life? Think about that. Is there something that you learned later in life that you wished? Insanity. You got that part right. He's front line. Yeah. Yeah. Insanity. I like that. That's for sure. Insanity. So what's the one thing you wished you learned earlier in life? Anything? I wished I would have, one thing I think I would have wished I had learned earlier in life is how important a college education is. I didn't get one. My family didn't have any money, and of course, being 18, I thought I was going to do this, that, and the other, but it just never worked out. I do have some college. I've taken college courses, just never really. After I graduated high school early, and after that, I I just never really felt like it was worth the money it cost me to go to college. And I was, of course, having to work a full-time job too. So, yeah, that just never worked out. But later in life, I realized that the jobs I've had throughout my life uh, were greatly affected by not having a college education. And by far, I mean, I really wished I had become a electrician or a plumber or a really good cabinet maker. I think I could have made as much money or more money and not had to worry about whether I had a 4-year degree. I never have been asked so many times. Working in the corporate world, you get asked a lot. I mean, I worked for Coca-Cola and I worked from, entry level all the way up to mid management. And after being there 15 years, I had managers telling me, upper management telling me that I was done. My career was done. I could stay in the job I had until I retired. I could take a lateral move to other jobs, but I could never move up any further, no matter how good a job I did or how good an employee I was not going anywhere because I did not have a 4-year degree. And I'll tell you what, that's a little painful. And what's even more painful is when they ask you to train somebody who has a college degree, and then when they get out of college, they take a job that you're more qualified for than they are. And only because they have a college degree and mom and daddy had the money to send them there. So I don't know. So that would be the one thing that I think I learned earlier in life. Or I wished I would have learned, and maybe I would have given it a little more effort. Let's see here. I wish, yeah, everybody wishes that they knew, life experience, you learn as you go. And, that's one of the things that, speaking of life lessons, I'm a manager at Amazon. Okay, that's good. You can become a manager there without a degree. I think that's great. So, 7261. So you're a manager at Amazon. Are you at one of the big facilities? What you're describing happens every day at Amazon. Yeah, it does, unfortunately. I mean, it hasn't changed. It still does. I've met some people with college degrees and they're dumb as a stump. They ain't got a lick they just don't have any common sense at all. And that, a college degree doesn't make you a good employee. Now, if you're going to be, by all means, I have a brother, a stepbrother, who is a doctor. And of course, at the time that he went to college, my parents paid for him to go. And so that's why he got to go and be a doctor. So there's a little harshness there between he and I, but that's okay. I mean, if you're going to be a doctor, you definitely need that college education, that extended education. But I mean, there's so many jobs out here that, a college education doesn't make you a good manager. I don't think. And there's lots of people without a college education that make really good managers. And I've had some of them. I have a university, and it's yeah. Everybody says I always like it when I did this on an application once because I didn't really care if I got hired or not. They asked like your education, like where did you go to college, and I put on there University of Hard Knocks. And during the interview, they're like, well, we see you got your bachelor's degree from the University of Hard Knocks. What state is that located in? Is that like in the South somewhere? Well, I just looked at them. I was like, yeah, it's right at the base of the Smoky Mountains. Oh, yeah, that's where I thought it was. And they had a college degree. Funny story, but real. It's true. It really did happen. And so every time somebody says something, where'd you go to college? School of Hard Knocks. Oh, is that in Tennessee? Mm-hmm. Sure is. Yes, sir. I'm really big on development. We get new managers all the time whose first job will be to manage 100 people. They get the job right out of college and they have no life experience. I agree, and I want to tell you something. Managing people is probably the toughest job you can have. I mean, even if you're in middle management, and let's say maybe you only manage 10 people. Imagine if is it Edward 7261. I'm sorry, I just don't have your first name, or I'd call you by that. You're a manager and you go in and you're tasked with managing 100 people, but you have no life skills. You've gone to college, you come out, you're 21, 22, 23 years old, maybe 24. How are you going to guide people? Because in that 100 people, you're going to have people that are in their 20s. You're going to have people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and maybe even 60s. And so how do you relate to all those people? It's tough. And so that's where I think time, experience, but I want to tell you, managing people's tough because everybody's different. You get, I'll tell you a story about a guy that I worked with, and he never worked in IT in his entire life, had absolutely no training. He had cerebral palsy. He has a service dog that's with him everywhere he goes. But I want to tell you, when it came to work, he was the first one in the door, the last one to leave. And he wasn't stupid. He did have a college education from the University of Missouri. And we're still friends today. And he works in IT. And my managers, when I said, hey, I want to hire this guy, and they're like, well, he has no experience, no certifications. How can you hire him to work in IT? And I said, well, you can teach people IT, but you can't teach people to come to work on time, to do whatever it takes to do to get the job done, to be dependable, to be dedicated. You can't teach that. They either are or they aren't. And what I found is a lot of people are, at least the ones that I've dealt with over the last few years, if they're in their mid-20s to mid-30s, they think everybody owes them something. And that if it's something that they don't like, then they shouldn't have to do that. That's just not fair. And if they decide that they want to be 15 or 20 minutes late to work every day, you should be totally fine with that. Or if they decide in the middle of the day they need to just leave the office and disappear for an hour and go do some personal business, they think that that's okay too. And you shouldn't be upset about that either. I'm old school. I don't believe like that. So thanks for letting me know, though, that you work at Amazon. Where do you work at Amazon for? What part of the country? Because we have a huge here in Pflugerville. We have a huge Amazon facility. Where did you go? Yeah. Frontline insanity. Yeah, must be good buds with someone in charge. How to manage my money better. Yeah, and patient. There you go. Nigel, thank you. I appreciate the super chat, buddy. Thank you very much. Man, that's so kind of you. But I mean, that's what you run into. Just being a manager of people's tough. I hear people all the time, I wouldn't work for Amazon for love nor money. Why not? I think people, I think they get a bad rap on a lot of stuff. You know, I like Amazon. I like the fact that, I mean, think about this. Don't you like the fact that at any given time, if you need something right this second, you can go on Amazon, place an order, and pretty quick, you can get it. And here's my biggest plus about Amazon. I have never, ever been told if I bought something from Amazon and I'm like, you know, I just don't want it. It was presented not like I thought it was. It's not going to work out. I never, ever get any issues about returning it. Not one. And they make it so easy. So you wonder why they grow like that? That's why. Deep South Rust Garage, thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate that. That's kind of you. Thank you. I'm going to go check out your page too. And, you know, everybody know Nigel, y'all see there, he popped in a $20 super chat. Man, that's just outstanding. I thank you very much for that. And that'll go into good use for the new office and the materials I'm using to get that ready. So hopefully I'll have that ready in a few weeks and we'll get moved over there. I can't wait. You work in California right now, but you actually had pleasure of training out in Knoxville. Okay. All right. Launched a site in Louisiana recently. Yeah. Time in Tennessee will consider a move to there. Yeah. The facility here it's pretty big. They employ quite a few people. I've even thought about, you know, putting in an application there as part of my retirement. That's one of my non-IT jobs that I would consider is working there. I don't know doing what, but you just mainly because then I wouldn't have. It's probably 3 miles from my house. It's easy to get to. Not a lot of traffic, and so yeah. Let me know if you want to get in there as IT. I will. Like I said, I worked for Marriott International for 16 years in IT, so I have plenty of experience. It's just I'll surely let you know. It's always good to know somebody. Isn't that what they say? It says you're always hiring. Okay, good deal. Good deal. You look like a South American. I look like a South American. I was born in Mahia, Texas, born and raised here. So I've lived in East Texas, West Texas, Central Texas, North Texas. Currently live in Central Texas, but yeah, South American. No, I'm not South American. But thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. Yeah. So, man, you know, it's kind of some of the stuff that we look at. So here's another question for you. South Americans are beautiful. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't have too many people tell me that. They usually say you got a good look. We like your mustache, but you're old. Freddie B just joined. Hey man, how's it going? So here's another question I have. What one thing do you think is worth spending extra money on right now? If you were going to buy something, what one thing do you think is worth spending extra money on? You know, I always look at when I spend money is what's my return on investment? Not on everything, but on big purchases. I always look at what's my return on investment. And I've been in sales and IT probably the majority of my life. Sales first, then IT. I've done a little bit of law enforcement. But what's worth spending extra money on? I don't know. I'm cheap. I'll tell you. I think that every you know, some people buy cars and They have to buy the top of the line with all the bells and whistles. And I'm just the opposite. I like some of the comforts, but I don't need or want all the bells and whistles, because that's just more stuff that breaks. Bunker, your teeth. Yeah, I agree. If you can go to the grave with your own teeth, that is a real plus. And two, of course, I go to the dentist every 6 months, get my teeth cleaned and get checked out, and I'm fortunate. I know friends that really have, not that they don't brush their teeth or try to take care of stuff, but they just have a really bad gum disease. And I have one friend that he had a gum disease so bad that he had to get a full set of, and of course he couldn't afford implants, so he had to get a full set of false teeth when he was like 31. And so, I know there's people out there like that. So, but yeah, take care of your teeth, because that's kind of what they say. That's like the window to your health. That studies have shown that people who take care of their teeth and keep them clean and brushed and flossed and all the stuff you're supposed to do, that their health is better. So yeah, and it's true, I think. And my daughter's worked in the dental field all her life, and so 50,000 for implants. Yeah, it's expensive. It is super expensive to go to the dentist. You know what's really weird? And I just figured this out here. Hang on a second. It's getting a little stuffy here. I just figured this out when I was filing for Medicare, right? My previous job I got laid off and let go on January the 2nd. I have a severance package. My insurance is paid up through the end of April, and my Medicare kicks in 1st of May. But when you work for a company, you have health and you have dental and vision. But when you retire, Medicare doesn't cover vision or dental. Only like if you go to the hospital, go to see your regular doctor, checkups, that type of stuff. If you want dental or vision, you have to pick an Advantage plan, or go out on the market and try to buy that on the open market, which can be expensive, because for some reason, a lot of these dental insurance places, it's really just a discount that you're paying for, not really insurance. And I never figured out why that is. If those are the three main insurance coverages you have all your working life, if you're working for a company that offers those, and the bigger companies all do, if that's the three main ones that you have, glasses, dental, so you can go get your teeth cleaned twice a year and keep up on that, and then your health insurance. But yet when you retire, your dental doesn't matter anymore, your vision doesn't matter anymore. I don't understand that. And I can tell you that when you do retire, your health cost for insurance is definitely going up. And so anyway, I just thought that was weird that you couldn't get all of those benefits in a package deal through Medicare. You have to go outside, and they make it really difficult. And it's like, what do you pick? Do you pick an Advantage plan, or do you pick traditional Medicare and then all these supplement plans? If you go regular Medicare and then the supplement plans, you could spend, depending on how much of a coverage you want, you could be spending $1,000 a month for yourself. A lot of the Advantage plans are free. You don't pay a premium for them, but there's deductibles, and so you're paying for them. You're just paying for them instead of a premium. You're paying for them as a deductible. Don't you have seniors rebate? Seniors rebate. Are you talking about the newest? What did they? I hadn't even done my taxes this year, so I know there were some new changes that Trump put in place, and I think I do qualify for something like a $6,000 addition to the standard deduction or something like that. So we'll see how it pans out. I think probably the two things that I think Trump's done a really good job at is, one, he locked us in at a lower tax rate, which I think it benefits everybody, and probably the rich people too. But the rich people didn't care about that. They're not paying taxes anyway. But all us people who work for a living and pay taxes, it matters. And so there you go. I think he did that, and then I think shutting the borders down and trying to control the flow of illegal immigrants coming to the United States. How long is that going to last? I don't know. Is it till he's out of office, and then the next time we get a Democrat or somebody with a liberal thinking, they just open the borders up again and they just flood back in? I think that's a mistake. But I think it's a mistake because I know people who've come to the United States legally, and they're hardworking, they have families, they pay taxes, but they came here legally. And so I think legal immigration is great. And if you want to come from another country and go through all that, by all means, I think that's the way to do it. However, that said, our government makes it really, really expensive to do that. Can't save them all, I guess, is what they say. I wish they'd, revamp some of the immigration laws, but it's hard. A lot of people come here on visas legally, and then they just don't renew them, and they just kind of blend into the millions and millions of people in the United States, and then now they're here illegally. Some of them are here. People have been in the United States illegally for years, had families here. Years they've been here, and they're worried, and rightly so. They should be. And people say, well, they're not criminals. I was like, well, that just depends on how you look at it. Coming into the United States as an illegal immigrant illegally, that makes you a criminal in the United States. So anyway, I won't get into that. I guess that's really kind of all I had today. I'm still trying to mull over what's going on in Iran and all of that. And throughout the day, I come up with stuff that I think about, and I try to post on the community, post on TikTok, that type of stuff. But anyway, let me see, one last thing. That I like to end the show with is, and who was that? User 143 joined. Thanks. Hey man, appreciate you. Is that go do something kind today for somebody. If it presents itself, just go do something kind, because it's free, doesn't cost anything, and it's just like coming here. If you're new here, it doesn't cost anything to like, share, subscribe, follow, hit all the little hearts. All of that stuff's free. It doesn't cost anything to do that. I try to reciprocate if you're on YouTube and you're coming to the live, thank you. I asked this question a lot. So it looks like there's 10 people on the live right now. Out of those 10 people, it looks like 1 or 2 are really engaging other people, maybe just listening, and that's okay too. Maybe they're driving down the road listening. What brings you to the live? I mean, are you seeing this in the short feed? Have you seen different videos where I've promoted joining live? Hi, I'm new here. Sander, hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining us, Sander. Let us know where you're from. Where do you, and same thing on TikTok, like when you pop in, I mean, with TikTok, it's like, you're scrolling through and a live pops up. With YouTube, it's a little different. YouTube has, Sander, okay. Minnesota, okay, boy, I bet it's nice and cold there this morning. Yeah. But most of the people I think on YouTube are picking it up off the shorts feed. Currently we're actually coming into the last week. I was invited into a boot camp training session with YouTube out of Los Angeles and their staff there. And there's probably, I want to say there's like 60 of us in the class. And it's been like an 8-week class, and I've learned some from the staff, but I want to tell you, I've learned more from other YouTube creators just because one of the things that YouTube has done is in training, we'll have like a breakout and they'll separate us out in random groups and we get to discuss different issues that maybe issue that I'm having or somebody else. And a lot of times other creators can answer the question better than the YouTube employees because they know, they do it themselves. They've seen it and they can give you simple answers, easy guidance, and make it easy to understand. So I've learned probably more from the creators than the actual employees of YouTube. And maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe that's what they intended it to be. I was told that people on YouTube don't go live. Well, that's not true. They do. There's a lot of them that do. And put way more than I thought. And so, building that community over on YouTube, because I've been on YouTube since 2019. I've been on TikTok, and I cannot tell people on TikTok enough how much I appreciate, because I want to tell you that the group here on TikTok, it may not be as many people, but the people that join are dedicated. They come back every morning. They continue to give. They're positive. And I mean, they're just phenomenal to be around. And I mean, I have some of them that have both TikTok and YouTube, and they'll play games sometimes and like join on YouTube when they're normally on TikTok or flip flop back and forth. Dave Shop. Yep, that's correct. Wow, ruled by Saturn. Man, y'all are too kind to me. Thank you. Oh, can I heart that? I can heart that. Dang it. Wish I'd have done that earlier. I didn't realize I could do that. Boop. There you go. Now I've gotten to. Man, y'all are outstanding. Thank you. Thank you, ruled by Saturn. I appreciate that. That goes a long way. Trust me. I can't tell you, Dave, where do you stand for politics? For some reason, I'm going to answer that question for you, but somebody made a comment the other day. It's like, God, we've talked about politics a lot lately, but it's because politics affects our lives, our daily lives, every day. Something, you wonder why you hear it on the news constantly. Well, it's because it really has effect on people's lives. And so where do I stand on politics? Okay. Here's what I would like to see. I'm going to tell you what I would like to see. What I would like comment, the politics in comments is wrong with us choose what my disability is. We can't get enough money for ability people to do other things and other things around things. Danny, that's good. I would have to somewhat agree, and it's what's going on around us. Yeah. So here's my stance on politics. I think politics is missing one thing that would greatly improve politics for everybody is common sense. These people have no common sense. They're just nuts. They're in it for themselves. They're not in it, and we elect them. And they think that they can just do whatever they want to do when they want to do. And we've allowed them to do that. I think we need to have term limits. I think the Congress needs to only be able to travel to Washington once a year. They're not able to travel anywhere else. They can do all of their votes from home on a computer, just like we're doing right here. They can attend meetings. They can do all of that and save the taxpayers millions and millions of dollars. They need to have term limits. They need to have, if they think that health insurance on the open market is so great, then so be it. If that's good for the American people, guess what? That's going to be good for them too, and they can go do that. They can buy their health insurance there. There should be no retirement, period, because these people are turning this into a lifelong career and making millions and millions of dollars. And, 90% of the time they don't do anything but run their mouth or argue back and forth like, little kids on a playground. And they don't. Here's a perfect example. We've been changing times for years. It's stupid. It's been proven over and over that it makes no sense to do that. And every year or so when it comes up for voting, somebody opens a bill and it never, ever gets passed because they don't listen to the people. And maybe I think a lot of people have just given up on it. They're like, don't matter what we say, they're not going to do it. And all they got to do is pass one bill. That's it, just one. And then all the states could change. And, there's all kinds of changes, term limits for the Congress. As far as bills go, they can only have one item per bill. They have to have some goals set for them by the American people, like you have to sponsor and pass so many bills a year, maybe 3, whatever. I don't know. But you get somebody in Congress and they're a shithead. What can you do? You're stuck with them for 4 to 6 years. You should be able to fire them just like any other employee if they're not doing their job. That's what I think. And if some of that stuff changes, I think our government would be a lot better. YJ joined. Hey man, how's it going? So yeah, that's my take on it. If you're asking, did I vote for Trump? Yes, I did. If you're asking if I agree with everything he does, no, I don't. I just said earlier in the live that I wished he would lose his voice for 6 months so that then he could concentrate on just doing the job and not telling everybody what he's done or not making dumb statements trying to keep up with the Dems and their dumb statements or the liberal media and their half-truths. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. I can tell you I'm conservative and I'm a Christian, but I'm open-minded to listen to what everybody else. And I know everybody's got different opinions, but I think some of that, I always tell people too, because people ask me, well, why do you vote for Republicans? Why don't you vote Democrat? Democrats are supposed to be for the working man. So you voted for Kamala. Okay. Well, that was your choice. I mean, I personally am glad. I mean, I think if it would have been somebody other than Kamala, I would have considered it. But here's where I was going with that, and why I don't vote Democrats anymore. My parents voted Democratic, but in their time, Democrats were conservative. Democrats are not conservative at all. They have gone off the rail, and some of their ideas are not good for society. And think about this: that you don't have to agree with the president, but you should respect the office. And Trump just recently gave a speech. And like I said, I don't agree with everything he does and says. And some of the stuff he says, I just want to wrench up there. You see what's the new sport where two grown men are sitting across from each other and they take turns slapping each other, and you see, I mean, I want him to stand across when he says something dumb, and I just want to open palm hand slap the shit out of him and say, stop being dumb. But that's not ever going to happen. But that's what I think people, their frustration takes them there sometimes when he says stupid stuff, and especially when he says stupid stuff that he has no intent of doing. But he just gets people riled up. I don't know. Yeah. So that's what I think about that. And what do you think about all the ICE raids and that? Okay. That's a tough subject because they're doing they're enforcing the law of the land in the United States. Now, that's kind of like when they say we need to balance the budget, and they go through and they start cutting people. And then it's like, whoa, 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 not in my backyard. You can go to the neighbor's backyard and cut his stuff, just don't cut mine. Well, it doesn't work that way. If you want a balanced budget, everybody has to cut back. All of us. Your backyard, my backyard, everybody's backyard. But that's not what happened. They start doing stuff, and I think that's why they, kind of split the sheets there, because, some of them wanted to really take it all the way and cut and balance the budget, and others did not. I'm scared here because there's been a lot of ice in Minnesota. Yeah, I know there's been a lot of ice there, but I have mixed emotions there. There's been some bad things happen in Minnesota with ice. But look at it like this: those ICE agents, they're human beings just like me and you. They have a home, they have a wife, they have kids. Their lives have been threatened. Can you imagine having to be tasked with, like, when you get up in the morning and you have to go do that kind of work? A lot of times they do that work not necessarily because they like it, but imagine this: do you really think people wake up in the morning that are in some form of law enforcement, and the first thing that comes to their mind is like, let me see who I can shoot today. Let me see who I can kick the crap out of today. Well, I can tell you that that's just not true. That's what you hear from the media, and it's a lie. It's just an out and out lie. I know. I know lots of people in lots of different law enforcement, from federal to county and I can tell you it's a lie. They're human beings just like me and you. You know what's the first thing they think of before they walk out the door and they kiss their wife and kids goodbye? Hey, I just want to have a safe day so I can come home tonight. Not, hey, I want to get out there in the middle of the street and fisticuff with somebody who's trying to make a TikTok video and interfere with federal law enforcement. It gets back to this. If you put yourself in harm's way, don't complain about what happens to you. And that's what these people do. They get out there, they agitate, they stick phones, they're impeding a federal law and law enforcement, and that alone is against the law. Should that get you killed? No. But people just do stupid shit, and I don't get it. And then cry about it. Oh my God, did you see he shot him? Well, did you see why did he come carrying a firearm? Oh, well, he's got a license to carry a firearm. I don't care. Why did he come there carrying a firearm? I guarantee he had some kind of intent. And it's sad because the guy was intelligent. He was a nurse or emergency nurse. Why would you do that? Why would you put yourself in that situation and then complain about, something escalates, people's adrenaline goes off the charts, and then, something bad happens. Well, if you don't want something bad to happen, stay at the damn house. Don't do stupid shit. Don't take a firearm just don't do that. If ICE is not there for you, butt out. Simple as that. And then you don't have to. You don't have to agree with what they're doing, but you don't have to go down there and get in the middle and get in their face either. And that's where people think, oh, I have the right. I can just do whatever I want to do. You can. But there's repercussions that could come with it, and probably ones that you don't want. So wouldn't it be just as easy for you to stay home? So those people, the women and the people that got hurt in Minnesota, it's because they inserted themselves into something that they should have just butted the hell out. Now you can protest. You can stand on the curb and protest all you want, hold up signs, even run your phone, film, whatever. But if you're asked by law enforcement to vacate or move or leave, you should do that. Because if you don't do that, then you're inserting yourself into something where you might get hurt. Because those guys and all law enforcement are trained to protect themselves at all costs. Everybody, they're not like the movies where you say, oh, just shoot them in the foot. Yeah, they're not trained to shoot people in the foot. They're trained to shoot you in the mask, which is right here, from here to your waist. And why? Because when they shoot, they plan on killing you. They're not shooting to wound you. If you get wounded, it's because they missed their shot. But that's not what their intent, and that's not how they're trained. And you need to know that. And so don't put yourself in those kind of situations. And then bad stuff like that won't happen to you. Even though all of those things that did happen in Minnesota are very sad. I just wish people would learn to stand on the sidewalk, hold up your sign. But if you're asked by law enforcement to leave or move, Lord Scone, hey man, how's it going? By all means do that. Don't put yourself in those situations where you could get hurt or killed. But people put themselves in those situations and then they cry about it. How about this? This is a perfect example. Austin, Texas. I forgot what it was a couple of years ago. It was about something. They think they had the right to go out on Interstate I-35 and stop traffic on a highway. And they think that that's perfectly fine. And then they think it's perfectly fine to throw rocks and frozen ice bottles at the police. And then the police are tasked with crowd control. They fire beanbags at them. And the people that get hit by beanbags and are injured sue the police officers. And the liberal retards of the city allow that to happen. And who provided the police officers with the equipment? That would be the city. And so they determined that, these beanbags were old, they should have never been done. But the city is who gave the police officers that equipment. So should the city be sued? No, they want to go after the police officers like they did something bad. They didn't do anything but their job. And if you're an idiot standing out on I-35, you deserve to get whatever you got. because doing that and blocking traffic is a crime. And you commit the crime, you got to do the time. But what did they do? They let all those people walk. They didn't charge any of them, but they wanted to charge the police. And then people complain when they call, when somebody's kicking in their front door or breaking in their window to burglarize their house or do bodily harm to them. And then they say, oh my God, the police, they never came. Huh. Wonder why. Because they're shorthanded, because they don't want to get sued. Better yet, they don't want to get arrested and drugged through the courts. So be careful what you wish for. But I guarantee you, the next time somebody's kicking in your front door, you see who you call. It's the police every time. You don't call the neighbor. You don't call your mama. You don't call the coach. Call the police. So just always remember, police have a tough job to do, and they're human, just like me and you. They got families and kids, and all they really want to do is go home at the end of their shift. Now, are there bad cops? Yeah, they are. And guess what? The first people that want those bad cops that do stupid stuff, they are the other cops, because they give the other cops a bad name. The good ones, the ones that are there to help the community and do a good job. Yeah. Those guys, they hate bad cops. They're the first one to get them out. So anyway, there's my 2 cents worth on politics. But man, I have a hard time if anybody wants to complain about their behavior and that they should be able to just do whatever and there should be no repercussions. And if there are repercussions, it's always somebody else's fault. When it's bullshit, it's your fault. You put yourself in that situation, and if you don't like what happens because you put yourself in that situation, that's on you. Love is flag for hate speech. I'm not being hateful. Oh my goodness. Can you believe that? Not being hateful. Somebody asked a question, I'm just answering it. Hi, Grandpa. How are you? I'm fine. Anyway, hey, it's time. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for all the gifts, everybody. Sorry it got a little deep there. Some questions, kind of got off, but no hate speech. Just understand that. There's nothing. I don't hate anybody. I just answered a question and gave you my opinion, and you're free to give your opinion here too. I'll listen to everybody's side. Hey everybody, have a wonderful day. Go do something kind for somebody. An act of kindness to somebody rank stranger, anything. Open the door for a lady today. You don't see enough of that anymore. Just, that's being kind. Help somebody with their basket at the grocery store. Whatever. If you see an opportunity, just go be kind, because it's free. And man, you get a whole lot more out of it than the person you're being kind to. So anyway, have a great day. We're back here weekdays, 6 a.m. Have a wonderful day. I got some more projects to work on, the new office. I can't thank you for all the support that everybody gives. It's been great this morning. Sorry, kind of got a little off and on that, but we'll have something a little more lighthearted tomorrow, maybe. I'll try not to talk about politics today, but it seems like that's what people want to say once, and I'll stop. Say poop once, and I'll stop. Ryder X Rhodes, you're funny. Okay, so everybody have a wonderful day. I'll be back here at 6 a.m. in the morning. Be kind, be safe, and I'll see you back here. Thanks everybody.